happy. Where do I pop this bad boy?
Yeah?
Here.
That was loud. Nice and echoey. Camera ready? Yep. Okay, so hello.
Hi.
I'm Daisy. We're from the Bournemouth Film School, so we're film production students. We're currently in our final year. And yeah, I was wondering to just start off if you could introduce yourself, what you guys do, and a little bit about how you got into it.
So I'm Henrietta Ashworth. I'm a screenwriter, and I got into it really randomly. So we were a screenwriting team, and we always used to write together like silly stories and stuff when we were kids. And then I actually did film A level and AS level, and for that you have to do like a little sample screenplay. And I sort of did that, and then I kind of got Jessie involved because we always used to
Do stuff together.
Still do, obviously. And we finished it, and just completely randomly, my dad's not in the industry at all, but he was doing some work for this guy, Peter, who worked in PR for film, and he was wanting to get into producing. And he came around to our house for coffee one time, and with my like 18-year-old confidence, I like pitched him our film idea, and like bless him, he was like, "That's really good. That's a really interesting idea," and like had coffee with us intermittently for about a year and helped us, like gave us advice, and then he was like, "Well, if I'm going to produce this, you need an agent." So he sent it to some people he knew through PR, and we met our agent once. She was like quite young as well. She was actually an agent's assistant at the time and was looking to move up, and we loved her and she loved us, and actually that film never ended up happening, but we got
As is often the way.
as often happens. But she liked our script. I think, to be honest, we finished the script, which is unusual. Lots of people have like half a script, and it was good enough that she was interested in us, in representing us. And then she was like, "What else do you have?" And we went away and wrote loads more, and then
had
we
loads of
meetings.
Then we probably actually didn't get a film or anything made or optioned or anything for another like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm Jessica Ashworth, by the way, but my story is basically the same.
Yeah, she definitely can like take it up.
Yeah.
But that's how we got into it, basically. Yeah.
So that's how we got into it. So it was a bit sort of, we were very lucky because we were only, by the time we signed with our agent, we were only about 21. But I don't think we realised quite how unusual that was. And it was really all just sort of falling into place and being in the right place at the right time. And then we just kept writing, at first in between part-time jobs, and then sort of finally started paying our bills when we were about 25, and then it just about touch wood pays our bills now.
That's really cool though. I'm also a writer, so like it's really interesting to see that. I was wondering, because Tell It to the Bees is your first feature, if I'm correct?
Yeah.
Because I know you've written a lot for TV. What's kind of the big difference between writing for TV and then a feature film?
So film, we love film, so I like writing film because it's one story. So it feels like it's a really nice way to express an idea. I sort of feel like sometimes films are a bit like an essay, in that you pose a question at the beginning of the film, you debate the question, and then you conclude at the end. It's sort of like can we do this? When Harry Met Sally, can men and women be friends? Yes, they can. No, they can't. Well, they sort of can. Like it's that sort of polemic. So I love that kind of telling a tiny personal story. So we love film, but film is really a director's medium. Like it is, the director is king in film. Whereas TV is the writer's medium. If you're a writer in TV, you're treated not like a one episode writer like we've been, but if you're the showrunner, you are like the queen of the show.
You get to sort of like, stylistically, it's your voice. You get to kind of set the tone in a way that's the director's job in film.
Yeah.
But yes, funnily enough, we always wrote film. It's just TV happens faster. So we had producer credits on mostly TV, writing on established shows while we weren't showrunners, just because that happens faster.
But for us, for TV, because we've got lots and lots of, it takes a long time for you to get your own show made, because that's actually like winning the lottery. But like writing people's shows is the most like a day job that a sort of film and TV writer gets, in that you go into, when we've done it, we go into a writer's room, spend 2 weeks with a group of people coming up with a story, and then you're paid to write it.
What's fun about TV, what's different, I think, is it's more social. Because with a TV series, you've got maybe the head writer, and then you've got maybe sort of 6, 7, 8 writers writing on the show. So you get to be in a writer's room, and you get to talk to other writers. And I just think also when you're breaking story and coming up with plot, like the more heads, the better. Yeah. Like everyone can like throw in, and I love collaboration. Like I think it's always better the more people you can get involved. And usually with film, you're just sitting alone in your room, try and get it finished and bang your head against the wall.
And then it probably won't get made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So kind of bouncing off the idea about collaborators, is there, I'm sure like a lot of stuff is like whatever work comes to you as well, but when you're looking to work with other people, are there certain things that you look for? So maybe producers or directors, but what about collaborators makes them attractive to you?
Honestly, like people that I like, because film and TV, it's painful and it's emotional and it's raw.
It takes a real long
It
time.
takes a long time. Sometimes you're writing till 4 a.m. Sometimes they call you at 4 a.m. saying you need to do another draft. You need to like them. And also it means that you can tell them to F off if you need to as well, or you can like say, look, I can't do another draft. I am completely dry. Like, help me. You need to not feel intimidated by them.
Yeah, not scary. That's one of our things.
Not scary.
Not scary.
Laugh at our jokes. That wasn't even really a joke.
Yes, the narcissism.
But I mean, that is definitely. I've sort of, as I've got older, I've got more like I just trust my instinct. Like we've got into collaborations with people before where they really impressed me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they know what they're doing. And then 3 years down the line, I'm like, I'm terrified of them, and I don't feel I can express how I actually feel to them. So that really is important, I think, to find people that you enjoy that you can be creative with.
And I think as well, there's this feeling that sometimes people think you have to be a dick to like, get ahead. And I'm so like
Just
completely
no.
reject that idea.
Yeah.
You can be nice. You don't have to shout. You can be kind to
yeah.
people. You can be good to people. Like, I
Definitely.
think that's such rubbish.
And other than that, just I mean, just something in common, I guess, in terms of.
And your take on the material.
Yeah.
Usually, we'll
Yeah.
have a view. Even if it's our spec, like something we've written ourselves. We'll be interested in what they have to say, or if we're like meeting a producer because they've sent us a script they want us to rewrite, or a book they want us to adapt, or an idea. Usually it'll be like, well, I think this. Do you agree with me? Basically.
Kind of like an audition if you're an actor, really. Yeah.
So in approaching a book to film adaptation, like Tell It to the Bees, do you approach it slightly differently than obviously if you were creating like an original idea, and how differently?
Yeah, I suppose you do, because like obviously you want to be like you're coming from material, but in the end with everything, it's always just a feeling of like I just feel like I know this character. I feel it's so in my bones, and I know how I want to write this, and it doesn't really matter where that comes from, where that spark comes from, whether it's from your own brain or from a book or from something you've watched or read. But I mean, the way we tend to adapt, we've always been big bookworms, so we've always when I wanted to be a writer for film, I always imagined adapting books. But I tend to read a book, and if I start seeing the film in my head, then I tend to think, oh, I can do this. Well, actually, with all of our adaptations so far, what we've done is read it and then put it aside and do a first draft without reading it again, because it's kind of the truth. What you remember is often the most important thing, because it's what moved you and what touched you. And then obviously for the second draft, you go back and go, oh yeah, that was a good line, or that was a good bit.
And a book is like a film. It's quite a straightforward thing.
Yeah.
It sort of has to have a beginning, middle, and end. There's a very specific structure to a film. Books don't have to do that. Novels are much more
All over the place.
free-wheeling.
Yeah.
So you almost have to like draw out, okay, what is the 3-act structure here?
Yeah.
So you often have to like change it a
Yeah,
lot.
so you can sometimes
throw
have to
things
be a
away.
bit brutal and be like, what's actually the story that I can
Who's
tell?
the protagonist as well?
In 90 minutes. Like, because a book, even if it's not a very long book, there's so much depth in it that it's hard to get in a film if you're trying to concentrate on 7 different things at once. So that's how we tend to approach it. Find out what the one story is, which might mean jettisoning loads of other lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking to Fiona about it this morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big reader as well, and I always think that as long as you get the character, like the heart of the character, it doesn't matter what situation you put in, whatever differences happen, if the character is in the right place and the tone is right, you'll probably still be quite faithful to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting.
It's the feeling of it for me. I actually quite feel like when I see a film and the adaptation, like an adaptation of a book, and it's exactly like the book, I almost feel like, well,
What was the
what's
point
of
of
that?
that?
It's a different medium. You
Yeah.
want to do it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, you've answered like pretty much everything that I wanted to say.
Just
I
talked
have
too
one
efficient.
really guilty pleasure just
Yeah.
to ask at the end. I know you're working on Killing Eve.
How was
right.
that? I'll tell you everything.
Okay. So episode 1.
Write this down. Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh my god, it's so much fun. We love it as much as you do.
Yeah, it was. We managed to watch it obviously because we were working on it. We actually worked on it a year ago. Like it was finished a year ago. They'd greenlit the second series before the first series even came on TV, and we'd watched all the episodes, like the early cuts. They said to us, "Do you want to work on Phoebe Waller-Bridge's new show?" And we were like, "Yeah."
What question is that?
Yeah, and they sent out the first 3 scripts, and it was like, this is incredible.
And then the episodes were just so good, and it's like we had to sit on it for like a year. And I was just like, honestly, this will be your next favourite show, just wait.
So cool.
And then, yeah, it's really fun, like the way they set up this. I'm not sure how they did it on the first series because Phoebe was so across everything, but in the second series, they just got a load of us in a room and we spent 2 weeks with cake and croissants going, do you know what we should do? I think this was what should happen.
And it was an amazing group. Like, it was the first all-female writers' room I'd been in.
Yeah.
Although eventually we got some boys.
We got some boys and we had to.
But yeah, so that was really fun. I've never experienced that. Usually you're the only girls in the writers' room.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
And it's the story really brings out a sort of irreverence and silliness. Like we were all, it was like, and I guess this happens with groups of women anyway, but it was really, like everyone told their secrets. It was just a really
lot of
lovely-
cackling.
There was a lot of cackling and a lot of like really oversharing. Yeah, it's great. It's good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be really good.
You're just like that close to like giving me.
Never. Everybody, even my dad is like, what did you just say? And I was like, nothing, Dad. Like, yeah, everyone's trying to get clues. Nothing.
I mean, I'm finished, so thank you so much. That was really fascinating.
You're welcome.
You guys are lovely.